Hi, I'm Maddie Lytle. I'm a student educator at the BYU MOA. I'm studying studio art and education, and I love working with all this art around me all the time. This is November Montclair, painted by George Inness in 1893. You can see here this lone figure wandering through this hazy autumn grove of trees. Something I love about this painting is you can clearly see the influence he had by an 18th century theologian named Emanuel Swedenborg. They both agreed that the physical creation we have around us there's a spiritual aspect to it. And I love to see that with the sort of loose brushstrokes, the haziness about the image, it has this misty, ethereal atmosphere that suggests this unification of the temporal and spiritual world. And that's really important to me whenever I'm in a situation like this, whenever I'm in nature. So perhaps this figure is in this metaphysical state, communicating with God in some way, on their own, in the wilderness, in his creation. And I love that the figure is obscured. You can't see them very well, because what you're supposed to be seeing is this bigger picture, this idea that we are here in the world, navigating through it, and that we belong right where we are. I feel like this is something that everyone can relate to in this painting, the idea that God knows who we are, that we are where we belong, and that we can feel his presence when we're in his creations. That's something that's constantly shown to us through scripture stories. You see Moses with the burning bush, the brother of Jared praying at the mountaintop, Mary Magdalene at the garden tomb, and of course Joseph Smith in the sacred grove. This idea that through that connection that there seems to be between nature and that spiritual world, we're able to feel God's presence, we're able to feel the love of our heavenly parents, and we're able to hear that recognition that, yes, I know who you are and you are where you're meant to be. In each of those examples, the Lord calls his children by name. And that's really important to know that in this situation that they're in this situation that we found ourselves in before, in the situation that this figure is in, God knows them, God sees them, and understands them. When I read the teachings of Jesus Christ, an overwhelming message that I'm constantly getting is that he knows me, he loves me, he understands me, and that I belong as part of his fold. I love the constant messages that you see in the examples that I gave, and also just in the scriptures in general, that everyone has a seat at the table, everyone belongs, this kind of unifying factor that we all have together. We're all God's children, and we can all feel his presence in a situation like this. And that is something I'm constantly reminded of, looking at this artwork or being in nature, the idea that although I could be this lone figure surrounded by trees, no one else is there, I am known by God, I am important, and I am here connecting on that spiritual level with the creation, with the world around me. It's a really comforting thought. I really love this artwork because I'm able to be reminded of all these things and be reminded of experiences that I've had in nature, on my own, even in isolation or in other times. That reminder that God knows who I am known, loved, and understood. Yeah.